There's two eyes.
All right, good
Right at you.
afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, November 15th. It is 12:35 p.m. First order of business is I need a motion to go into executive session.
I'll call the roll first.
And we're going into executive.
We should call the roll first.
All right, following directors are here, Mr. Pally, Mr. Trotter, Mr. Polakowski. Yes. Mr. Callahan, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Braun, we do have a quorum. So I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters of litigation. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Need a motion to come out of executive session? Motion. A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There was no action taken in executive session. First order of business are minutes of October 23rd. Circulate to everyone. I have a motion to accept. So moved. For second. Second. Comments, corrections, criticisms? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Lori?
Okay, included in your package is our P&L, January through October versus actual. During the month of October, we had one application received. We had no closings in the month of October. Going down to our operating expenses, I just want to mention that our office supplies and expenses and also depreciation is over budget because of the move from the town directly to us for our services. And the interest in earnings is up comparable to our budget, and that's mostly due to our rates. Any questions on the budget versus actual for October?
Due to the actions of our CFO in getting those.
The banks don't like when they see my number. I'm like, what are you gonna do for us? I want to mention one other thing, that all of our payroll taxes and related withholdings have been paid timely in accordance with federal and state guidelines. And all regulatory reports have been filed in a timely manner. Just to add to that, we did file our budget timely with the state by November 1st.
No questions. Motion to accept the CFO's report.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Lisa?
Okay, the first item on the agenda is a subtenant application for the Hawkins Avenue Development RHP2 LLC project. The subtenant is TriTech. They intend to rent 15,590 square feet of space for executive, admin, and general office use. It's a 7-year lease. They will retain 74 employees and add about 3. It's a subtenant application. I don't know if I said that.
Yes, you did.
Questions? Motion to accept. So moved. Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next item is another subtenant application also for the Hawkins Avenue Development RHP2 LLC project. It's for Redefine Market from Hakma. They're a grab and go prepackaged meals. They have other locations that are going to remain. They're going to take just over 1,100 square feet. It's a 17-year lease, and there will be 4 FTE as a result.
Questions? Motion to accept the application, please. So moved. Second? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is an application from Ferrandino and Son Development Group LLC. This is a proposed
262 residential rental units. It's proposed at 188 through 234 West Main Street in Patchogue. It's west of West Avenue, west of the, south of Main Street, west of West Avenue, west of the courthouse. Just to give you, it's not an exact, piece of property, but that area. There will be demolition of the existing structures, which are 6 buildings totaling about 41,000 square feet. The proposal is to build 2 4-story buildings that will be separated by the Patchogue River. They'll have the 10% affordable, 10% workforce. It's about 321,000 square feet. It's gonna be a mix of studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. There's gonna be 2 parking garages. It's 4 acres. There will be some retail included on it. They are going to be refurbishing a trolley house, and it's gonna be used for the Patchogue Chamber of Commerce exclusively. And it's $153 million project. It will result in 5 FTEs, and they're requesting a pilot mortgage recording tax and sales and use tax exemption.
And it's supported by the village of
It is
Patchogue.
also supported by the village of Patchogue. And Mr. Russo, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Our application with the village for the change of zone has been submitted, and we have a public hearing scheduled at the Patchogue Village Planning Board, which will be taking place on December the 19th. And we have a change of zone hearings on the Patchogue Village Board on January the 8th for the change of zone. All of this was just scheduled within the last 24 hours. Our project, when you talk about the retail, it's about 300 square feet of what would be grab and go in one of the buildings. The 501 is the trolley house. The trolley house used to be, and it presently exists, on industrial property in the rear. That's a steel manufacturing works right at the present time, and the village wants it preserved. So we're picking it up, shifting it over, and putting it and incorporating it with being refurbished into our actual design and elevations. And the village is very pleased with that. It used to be part of the old lace mill across the street. So the buildings across the street, there's the cemetery, there's the YMCA, there is the brewery, which used to be Sweezy's, and then Briarcliff there. And it's cleaning up the entire west end of Main Street. They're trying to have the entrance coming into the village look like the east end of the village with the development. If you have further questions, be happy to go through it.
Howard, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Howard,
You're muted.
I'm unmuted, trying to unmute.
Okay,
Sorry.
now I'm unmuted. No, I don't have anything to add, thank you.
It's transit oriented because it's within a half a mile of the railroad. It's walkable to the downtown retail and restaurant units, and it's in very good development that the village is looking to help with. and
Eric,
support.
how many positions, jobs would be created?
My recollection is,
Five.
yeah,
And what kind of jobs are those?
well, they're construction mostly, and then,
Well,
Well,
more than
there's
five.
300 jobs, 3 construction jobs that
Yeah,
are, but
the
the
permit.
permanent jobs, I'm pretty sure that the
I didn't
application
see that,
said,
yeah.
rental. What was that, Howard?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's gonna be a job, there's gonna be a superintendent on site
Right.
probably,
put a
and you'll
total-
have some maintenance people and rental people.
It was
Gotcha.
between 5 to 10, depending on what was going on.
And about 300 construction jobs.
Correct, and
Yeah.
it's over a 2-year period with phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is supposed to happen within 24 months, and then phase 2 would be within 12 months after that. And the hope is that if change of zone goes through, the site plan goes through. We already have applications filed with the Suffolk County Department of Health Services, with the New York State DEC, because there's a lot of contaminated property to the west that we're moving the trolley house from. And the DEC is supportive, and we're gonna clean up the Patchogue River area at the entrance to allow for a river walk to commence that the mayor wants to go forward with. So it's a very engaging project that, and ambitious, but it will certainly improve that whole end of the village.
Yeah, it has bigger effects than just the housing and the
Correct.
jobs that it creates and, for the community. So that's great.
Correct.
Thank you.
Eric, I have a quick question. There are currently some tenants in there, correct? They're gonna be leaving?
There are tenants in there. As we outlined in our application, there is a steel manufacturer that's in the trolley house that will be leaving. There's a laundromat, there's an auto repair business, but all of those tenants upon closing will be vacated from the facility.
And I'm assuming that you'll be doing environmentals on the
There
site?
are in process with the DEC. Their applications are filed. And what most of the property is on the eastern side is D2 business. On the western side, it's a mixture of D2 business and E industrial. And the village is seeking that all of it become D2 business, which will allow for the apartment buildings and the uses that are proposed. And the client is aware that although there are insurance requirements, et cetera, for the retail and the office, those may not be part of the pilot that's being sought. So we're asking for the standard package. And we're also asking for a 20-year period. We've also hired, and we have in process, the feasibility study by National Development Council, and we should have it shortly. And the applicant knows that Des Moines is going to do yours, and you'll compare the two. So we're trying to do everything as expeditiously as possible. We've also provided the financials, which Mr. Braun and I provided to him today.
We're going back and forth on the financials a little bit. I have reviewed them. Somewhat unusual in the fact that it's a fully audited statement. You don't see those very much anymore.
Pretty good.
Unless it's a publicly traded company. It's for the main company and its affiliates. The application lists 14 LLCs. The audited statement shows 17 LLCs. It's a good, strong financial statement. There's some reluctance on the part of the client to leave those financial statements with us. So I throw it back out to the board. I can write a summary memo and put it in a file, or we can insist that the financial statements that Eric has with him would be left with us.
There are 17 LLCs, and we got the corrected and amended list just the other day, and I provided it and attached it to the IDA application. And all of the applications that I've made before this board for the IDA, the process that I did follow, and as was requested by respected counsel, either Mr. Weir or Mr. Gross in the past, was provide the financials to the chairman and allow the chairman to review them. And if he represented that they were in good order, he passed it along and represented it to the board. My concern, and I told my client that was the process, and this only came up within the last week, but my concern is, it's very nice that you would like to keep them with a memo on top saying they're non-disclosable and they're in somebody's vault somewhere, I guess, but I've yet to see a vault here in the town. So my concern is that they may be misplaced or they may have been forgotten. Should the membership here change or the director of the facility, the IDA change, and I would prefer not to. We're telling you that they're accurate. And I know for a fact that unfortunately not this board or not this executive director misplaced and a application letter of credit from the PAR organization for the Shirley Industrial Park, and it has implications. So I prefer not to provide it. And my client is not asking, is asking me to challenge the request to provide it.
Okay.
And I'm not citing anybody other than that. You were not involved, Ms.
I have a concern.
In high school.
You've required financial statements from everybody. In most instances, we've always gotten them. There are apparently a few instances where we've made some exceptions, and I am not certain that going forward, we should be doing that. I would suggest that financial statements where they may contain trade secrets or information of that kind that could affect their competitive nature, that they be placed in a separate envelope. They've been marked confidential. If we're subject to FOIL, we alert the applicant and they can contest it and present the case as to why it's a trade secret and the like. But otherwise we might as well eliminate the requirement for financials from everyone.
Well, in response to that, I would sit there and tell you that you have a county executive that's challenging and responding to documents that were not supposed to be FOIL. And in this particular case, you have an individual applicant from a prior administration that the documents were misplaced. I really don't want to subject my client to that exposure, and I understand and respect what you're asking, but your purpose is to say, is he financially feasible? He's got credentials in his financials that are audited, that the chairman has seen, and they're adequate and appropriate, and we're not misrepresenting anything.
It's intended to be part of a package that provides a record as to our actions, as to why we took certain actions.
I understand, and you also were counsel in some of my prior applications, as well as Mr. Weir, where you did not request that they have to remain here and mark on.
That may or may not be true. I don't recall, but and regardless of whether that was the case in the past, I think that going forward, that opens the door for everyone to take that same position and not provide the financials as required.
Can the chairman write a summary with regard to that could be notarized, certified, or whatever, that the documents were reviewed and, you attest to them? And they could be made available at any time by the client, if needed? Is that something that?
I could write a summary memo, that's not a problem.
And I can ask my client if they would be willing, when requested, to revisit and provide them again.
So that means you have to seal those up in your file so that, that same packet returns here if it was necessary. But, I understand you don't want exposure in light of things that are going on with cyber attacks and everything else. I can understand that, but we certainly need the information, and I don't know what was done in the past.
It need not be made electronically available. Hard copies and in sealed envelopes. I have done half of companies that may apply to agencies.
I just
on the foil, if it contains trade secrets or the like, that is a basis for not disclosing it, and that would be something that they would have to be prepared to defend.
In past applications, Fred, what have we done? What is
what I represent.
What is past practices been?
In a couple of cases, I have written summary memos.
Okay,
In many cases, we get the financials.
Well, here's my question.
so it varies.
Let me go back one step, okay? We obviously got the financials.
Yes.
The chairman reviewed the financials. The only question at the moment is not whether or not we got the financials and not whether or not we reviewed the financials. The question at the moment is where the financials stay. That's the only question.
Correct.
Okay, so let me ask it this way. What do we use the financials for after we've reviewed them?
Very little.
Okay,
It's just to make sure there's financial viability of the applicant.
right, I understand it, which has already been certified as a legal term. I don't want to use a legal term, which has already been reviewed by the chairman and accepted that premise. So from my perspective, if we don't use them after we've reviewed them, we can say we have accepted them, we have reviewed them, we're just not storing them.
Correct.
If we need them again, we can get them again if the Mr. Russo agrees. But if we don't need them again, we don't need them again because we've already done with them what we needed to do.
Do you think that we could figure this out, not in the board meeting, and
Because we have a big
make a
agenda.
vote on this
That's
project and
That's fine, as long as,
on this application? Yeah.
Eric could open this.
but that's my point.
Right.
That's my point.
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
The lawyers will take care of
Okay, thank you.
Then I
We'll
would
get
move
them
to,
preserved.
then I would move to accept the application.
Thank you. There's a
Second.
Any questions?
it. Third,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And set a public hearing.
The application.
Yes, instead of,
is accepted.
sorry about
Yeah.
that.
That's okay.
Forgot the last sentence.
Raise your hand.
I got the first, I got the second, I got it approved and
Okay.
it. Bye,
accepted.
Eric.
Thank you.
I'm going to, and it'll be in our minutes and on the video. I'm gonna take a couple of things out of order because we have some guests here, just to be cognizant of everybody's time. Sorry, that's fine. So we have some requests for extensions. The first one that I'm going to take out of order is BLSF Solar Array. This is a solar array, and we got a request for a three-month extension to close. They're basically ready to close, but since we're up against this grace period ending.
Which application is that again?
BLSF.
BLS, I think.
Sorry,
That's
I'm-
the solar on the capital landfill.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a community solar project, so it's gonna help the
I
people
would move
surrounding.
to, move to
They
accept the
can opt
extension.
in and get up to 30%
there a
off
second?
their
Second.
bills.
Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And it is ready to close very quickly.
Yeah,
Yes,
Okay,
we
fair
were,
enough.
the time was expiring. right?
yeah.
Yes,
yeah, it was like a time, it really was a timing thing.
BLSF is Brookhaven landfill solar farm.
Yes.
Okay,
The next,
8.8.
Okay,
the next one is the Holtzville Solar. This is a carport solar installation at the Holtzville Ecology Center property. And this one, there's a request for a 6-month extension to complete some engineering work. It's expected that the construction will start Q2 of 2024. And at the same time that we got this request, we also got a request to extend the pilot from 20 years to 30 years to align with the town's lease. That, I believe, would require a public hearing.
Or you could close on a 20-year and then amend it to do
we,
that.
the
or-
town already did the lease extension to 30
No, no,
years.
the IDA
Yeah.
had this, so the IDA had approved a 20-year pilot. We could either close on a 20-year pilot and then amend it after the fact, or hold a new public hearing and approve the
Call a new
30-year.
public hearing, so you do it all at once.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not ready to close.
It's not
soon.
ready yet.
Okay, then we'll just do that.
does the
Yeah.
purchase power agreement go out 30 years?
So it's 20 years under the feed-in tariff program number 3 with PCG Long Island. But there is a post PPA, a post power purchase agreement term, where we believe the retail rate is actually higher than the current feed-in tariff that we are receiving. And the lifetime of the solar panels, the steel, the other equipment, the inverters, will last for at least 30 years. So it's very likely that the project will last for 30 years.
But is there an option? Whose option is it?
I'm trying to get PCG Long Island to agree to a 30-year PPA, but that's not possible at this moment. But it will turn most likely into a community solar project where the community can actually participate in the renewable power.
In the last 10 years
For
then?
the last 10 years, yeah,
Yeah.
after the
Good.
20-year.
Excellent.
Can we go to 30 years on that basis?
Yeah, but we'll have to hold it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the assets are,
Yeah,
have a
okay.
life of 30
And
years.
the lease with the town is 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
so at the
is.
moment, all we're doing is extending a
By 10.
Extending 6 months
6
and
months.
setting a
Six-
new
yeah,
public
setting a new
hearing.
public
To
hearing.
consider the.
I would move.
Second. Question, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next one is very similar. This is the MAC Solar, it's the Mauritius Athletic Complex. Carport solar installation at the MAC Complex
yeah.
Fields.
It's actually on the parking lot.
On the parking lot, that's true, not on the fields, good point. They are requesting a 6-month extension to complete, again, some engineering work. Also, the construction is set to begin Q2 of 2024. And like the last one, the town has extended the lease from 20 years to 30 years, and they are requesting that we consider a 30-year pilot to align with the town's lease. Or it's really exactly the
So
same.
it's the exact same
A different-
motion
yeah.
as the last motion. I would so move.
Second?
Second.
Again, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and this one's gonna sound familiar also. This is the Mastic Beach Solar Carport installation. It's at the Mastic Aquatic Center. They're also requesting a 6-month extension to complete some engineering work. Construction is expected to start Q2 of 2024. And again, the town extended the lease from 20 years to 30 years, and they're asking if we would extend our pilot from 20 years to 30 years.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Second. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay. So to go. But it's different, you want me to?
No.
Oh,
No.
Just want to- I want to see if we-
No.
Who do you need, Lisa?
I'm just looking to see who's in. So the next item on the agenda is Salamander Cove. Just to remind everybody, you accepted applications for this project in both 2019 and 2021, but they have come in and asked, at the last meeting, they asked us for an extension for their application. And they provided an updated application, which was included in your packets. This, just to remind everybody, is a 96-unit residential housing complex. It's a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units. It's on the north side of Middle Country Road. It's approximately 116,000 square feet. There will be 10% affordable and 10% workforce. The updates, there were some changes. The cost increase, it's now 35.5 million. And they updated their full-time equivalents to 1.5 jobs being created. So there's 2 things that we have in front of us. The question is, do you want to approve the extension? They didn't put an exact amount of time that they were requesting. It was a little bit vague. We have seen most of the requests have been in about 6 months. And then also to accept the updated application. Any questions?
So it's 6 months?
6 month and new application.
Correct.
Yeah, and I think Dan Deegan is in, if he's counsel on it, if you guys had any questions for him.
I used to question, is 6 months enough time?
Yeah.
Yes,
You want to bring Dan in?
yep,
Please.
please hold. One moment.
That's kind of like.
We met the owner. Didn't the owner come in here one time for a meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Glass.
Yes.
I don't see him. on
Quite a
the
long
list.
time ago. Yeah, as was the application.
Yeah, correct.
Hold
Dan?
on. Yes, yes.
Dan,
How are you, everybody?
we're discussing a 6-month extension. Is that enough time for this to close, get going?
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to be safe, we would say a year, but we're hoping 6 months is going to be enough. So, if you don't mind just coming back in 6 months. This has been going on a long time, this project, starting in 2006 was when the planning started. So we're getting very close to the finish line here. We just need a little more time. And hopefully, I think 6 months is appropriate.
Okay. Do you have a resolution to that effect?
So much.
Second. Any other questions for Dan?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
And while we have Dan in, I'll jump around and just handle a couple of other items that Dan has on the agenda. Especially since if he leaves, then we can't get him back in for some with Zoom, or at least that we can't figure out. There's also a request in your packets for DNF Patchogue. This is an assisted living in Patchogue Village. It was completed in 2018. It's 128 unit, 146 bed facility. The request is in your packets. It was they've requested a 5-year extension. Originally, it was a 15-year pilot. They have 9 years left in their pilot. It started in 2017, in the 17-18 year. There's a chart also included in your packets, and currently, as of, I want to say October, they have 116 of those units filled. And to sum it up, just briefly, COVID impacted their ability to fill their units.
But it's unusual to come to ask for extension with 9 years to go. So we've discussed it here and we think it should not be approved at this point.
Well, yeah, could you, I also have Len D'Amico, my client is on, he should be in the waiting room as well. So we just wanted the opportunity to kind of explain the rationale for it, is that, really, it was very bad timing. As you know, the COVID epidemic really affected the assisted living, business more than any other business. And we were just at the point where we had completed the project, opened up in 2018. And we had construction financing in place. We're looking to convert to permanent financing ultimately. And as we're just starting to get up, and the chart shows our occupancy rates, just as we're starting to get up to a point where we're starting to ramp up, all of a sudden COVID happens, and we have a 2 to 3 year interruption in the ramp up, which really has, it was a period of time where, we ultimately, while we got the benefit of the pilot, we didn't have the benefit of the business during that time. And it was almost like, the purpose of this pilot was to help us during the ramp up. And we pretty much had a 3-year period where we did not get any, we had tremendous financial challenges in running the place. We still have not been able to convert to permanent financing because of, and we've also lost the window of low interest rates because of COVID, because now the interest rates have really jumped up in the last year. The occupancy rates are just now coming up to where they should be. They're still not 100%. So what the request is to kind of, it's not so much, it is technically an extension, but we're basically saying is to try and give us back those 3 years that we kind of missed from the idea. We're asking for 5 years, but because of the financial challenges of running this place, we're asking to try and help have you guys kind of give us the 3 years that we really in effect never got any real benefit from, because, well, we got benefit. It was really just a matter of ameliorating losses at that point. And, the project, everybody thinks that, it's a great project. It serves a real need in the community. But, given the nature of the assisted living business, it really was set back. So I don't know if that changes your mind. I don't know if Len D'Amico was able to come in. He's pretty passionate.
I'm
Yeah.
here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan made a pretty good case of what our situation is. And I understand, being 9 years out, why an extension now? We expect to get to stabilized occupancy, obviously much later than we had anticipated, and at least get a 10-year permanent. We, because of COVID, we couldn't make it out of our construction loan. So we were stuck in our construction loan period for an extended period of time, would cost us considerable amount of money. And then we had to get a bridge loan. So we're in a bridge loan period with extremely high interest rates. So once we do enter stabilization and debt coverage at higher interest rates, which hopefully will take just another 10 to 12 months, banks will hopefully get a 10-year mortgage so we can get some stabilized interest rates so we know where we're going. And banks will look for certainty in regards to what our overhead is, and particularly the taxes. So if we could at least get out to 10 years, plus a year to get there. So as Dan said, we'd like 5, but we expect to be stabilized in 1, and then the banks will look for a trailing 12. So it'll be 2 years from now before we can place it, and we'll need 10 years past that for them to entertain refinancing. So that's.
Yes, I have 2 questions. The bank you're talking to now, balking at the fact that there's only 9 years left on the pilot? And the second question is, somebody in the room asked whether or not during COVID, you were able to get any PPP financing or grants.
Yes, during COVID, we were able to get some funds for the employees that we retained. We didn't let anybody off, but the revenue stream still didn't cover, even with the PPP money, did not cover our expenses. We are continuing to come out of pocket millions of dollars a year out of pocket on this project, which we never anticipated, and we would not be here. Like I said, two things hit us that we had to occupy. The PPP did not cover our expenses during that period of time. So we were out of pocket during that period of time. And then when we did reach a higher level of occupancy, the interest rates tripled on us. We were down at 2.5%, 3%. Now we're up at 9%. So, that didn't cover it. And the banks right now, we are just dealing with is a bridge loan, as I said, and they're keeping very close eye on our covenants and our operations, and we can't even contemplate a takeout at this time. There's no way to be able to do that.
The PP loan or loans plural forgiven?
The loan was forgiven, yes. And we're still out millions of dollars. We have 140 employees out at the location. We maintain a very visible, high-end product on Main Street in Patchogue, which really has a great impact on the community as far as its visibility and what it stands for. I think we actually contribute to the stabilization of the community.
Questions from the board?
I guess the question is, what can we do to help? I mean, obviously, it's a very significant project in the village. Is there something we can do to help? If there isn't, there isn't, but is there something we can do to help?
Typically, we don't move projects forward with extensions of
Right.
their pilot until they're closer to the end of their pilot, so we can kind of see what is going on when we get to that point. So usually what this board does is or historically what you've done is said, come back to us when you get closer to the end if you still need assistance, and you consider it at that point when it's a little closer to that end point. This was a 15-year pilot to start with, so it was a longer pilot, and you'd have a better view of what it is that they needed when you got there.
I appreciate that. And we've worked through several of those situations. We mostly do affordable housing, so we're very familiar with getting extensions at the end of the pilot. My concern is, and again, we're okay if we don't do this now, but I think when we reach stabilization and we come to the point where we're looking for a refinance, it's going to be very difficult to get some sort of perm with just then 6 or 7 years left on the pilot.
I think the board very much appreciates, and a lot of us are pretty familiar with Patchogue, when it meets the Patchogue. We're certainly open to an extension, but I think we prefer to, I don't want to use the term kick the can down the road, but evaluate this at some future date.
And the other thing I would just point out, Mr. Chairman, is that, this, and I know that typically you do like to go further down the road. The unique situation here obviously was the nature of this business and COVID. And, we've presented the evidence to the board exactly what's happened to our occupancy. And you can see it was on a nice trajectory, ramp up, leading up, and then all of a sudden, February, March of 2020, and bang, it goes down, and it's just now recovering back to where it should have been. So it really is a very demonstrable impact of COVID on a business that, unfortunately is a one-off, hopefully, knock on wood, that is not something that's going to be a typical thing that's going to come in here.
I will also say your clients provided some statistical information to Lisa, and I've seen some of it. And over the next month or so, we will take a closer look at that, take a look at the pilot, and see if we can come back with any additional recommendations.
One other thing, while we have you, can you make sure that you get your disability insurance to us? Is that okay?
Yes.
There was some confusion about they got the workers' comp certificate, but I got on the phone with our supplier, our underwriter. It's coming. It's there. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you,
So we
gentlemen.
will continue this under review.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Lisa, could you also allow John Gordon, my partner, John Gordon, onto the phone as well? Just because the two other matters you're about to go into, he may be involved with. And I've got to,
That Dan.
Yeah.
he should be in the waiting room.
All right. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Len.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
There's no
so
John Gordon.
Dan, I'm sorry, I don't see John Gordon on the list here.
All right, are you gonna call, the conifer matter? You said-
sure, I can,
Unless he's under another name.
Conifer?
That's all right, no, I mean, I could do it. If we're gonna do the next two right away, then, that's fine.
I can take them out of, but Dan, I don't have Conifer on.
It's not called conifer, it's called, Fort Jefferson Commons. Port
Okay,
Jefferson
sorry,
Commons, I'm sorry.
sorry.
That's the name of the
okay.
entity, yeah.
Yep, that's what we have it under, and I knew we were close, I just couldn't make the connection. Put me on the spot, throw me off. Okay, Port Jefferson Commons, this is a, 53 unit, 100% affordable housing facility, proposed to go on Main Street in Port Jefferson. They're requesting an extension until May 31st of 2024 so that they can continue to work on their site plan and their tax credit funding award. Their site plan through, bless you.
Thank you.
Port Jefferson. So it's as a result of our application and resolution extension resolution.
And this project will be next to one that we already have on the books.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Nice.
So move.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Okay, and then, Dan, I think you also have the Arif Station Road Logistics Center and Arif Station Road 2 request. So we tabled this at our last board meeting, just to remind everybody, and we met with council and the project in the interim, and they are working through some of our comments and concerns. But if this board wants to, we could consider the extension, and I think it was we could consider giving them a 6-month extension, but to 6 months to close.
Which one was this one, Lisa? I'm sorry.
That's okay, Arif Station Road.
Okay.
I would move that.
Yeah, I second it.
Anything anybody wants to add to that?
I'm just gonna add that, I haven't had extensive conversations with council. I've made it very clear that they need to clear up the record at the planning board at the next hearing. So what happened at that first hearing, it was kind of implied there was only gonna be one hearing. Luckily, my deputy, Beth Riley, was listening in and realized this was a POSDEC, DEIS. You need to have another hearing to accept the final environmental impact statement. So there will be another hearing. And one of the questions the town has posed in the DEIS process is, are you applying for IDA financing? So they will need to answer that to get a final hearing. So the board will know before we take any action. So tabling this 6 months, the way the schedule works and how CEQA works, this is not gonna be approved this year at all through planning. If, they need to do more work. And the way the meetings work, it's gonna be sometime in January or February and probably the hearing. So you'll, if they are serious about this, they're gonna move forward. If they're not, their application goes bye-bye.
But it was 6 months to close the project.
Correct.
And seeker will be completed at that time as well, correct?
Well, it depends on them answering the questions.
Seeker is not.
See, CEQA is not all in the town's
No, I understand.
hands.
Right.
We pose questions to them, they have to respond.
Right.
So when they respond, and staff downstairs, we have a very able person doing the CEQA, says it's ready, then it'll go back on the calendar, and only then.
Some of the
cannot
questions
close
that you
until-
posed.
You can't
CEQA.
close
Yeah.
till we have CEQA.
Yeah, we can't even approve it until seeker.
That's good.
And in that, this is Dan. So just, the written submission and answers to those questions have been submitted to staff downstairs. So hopefully they're reviewing it and they'll get back to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's a resolution on the floor for 6-month extension. Do any further questions?
Majority.
Close in 6 months, correct.
Right. I move that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed,
Motion carried.
opposed.
Thank you.
Dan, Frank.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Dan.
thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to do the moratorium?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
a good
we
time
should
to
do the
that.
moratorium.
So that, I'm jumping around a little bit, but the next item on the agenda is spec industrial warehouses.
Speculative, yeah.
Yeah, So, we have had a discussion. I'm gonna suggest that this board consider a moratorium on new spec industrial warehouses over 100,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I think we should go back,
For 6 months,
well, I think we
right?
should go back to Camoin and have them update
but the
Study.
moratorium is gonna be for
to
6
6
months.
months. Okay, and in the
You need a
interim,
time, we can always
Is
extend
that
it,
a reasonable time to
That's a
complete that study?
I'm
but
gonna
if
go
it's
back
not,
to
we'll
them.
come back.
They did the original one, it's really an
Yes.
update.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to them and ask them to work on updating it, since there's been some construction, see where we are, not just in Brookhaven, but Long Island wide, and find out, you know, what's going on.
And it gives us an opportunity to see some of those projects and what their status is.
They'll
Are they
also
filled or are
study-
they empty?
Yeah, they'll also study the ones that are built that don't
That's what
have
I'm talking
tenants.
about.
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Existing
Existing applications, Lisa, would be granted 6 months.
I'm sorry, Gary?
I said existing applications.
well, I think, do you wanna,
Well, we
Should we
should
take
take
them
the
one at a time?
moratorium, yeah,
okay,
and then you do that separate, or is that part of the?
You're gonna vote
or
on
is it
this, or
part
you
of
go
the
back to the
moratorium?
current?
Yeah.
Well, you could vote on this, but
vote on the
this is
moratorium.
not, you're gonna give the other one 6 months to close.
Right.
But you'll do that by separate resolution.
Got it.
Okay,
Okay, so the moratorium is for new spec industrial warehouses
fine.
in excess of 100,000 square feet.
Correct.
For the study
For
to be
6
done.
Until the
months.
For 6
study
months.
For 6 months.
And if you need additional time for
It
that,
comes
you'll come
back here.
back to us.
That's how you
Correct.
do
But
moratoriums.
the other thing I would make clear is that we are only speaking for the IDA. We
Yeah.
are not
Yeah.
speaking
Correct.
for the town of
That's
Brookhaven.
a good point.
Yeah.
The town of Brookhaven can do whatever it wants.
Right,
With
Just the
regard to
IDA.
applications, we are
Mhm.
only speaking for the IDA.
Well, unless we have a crew.
Well, that's the town's responsibility, that's not our
Yeah,
responsibility.
I will make that
On the floor,
motion.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Motion carries.
okay. All right, I am going to,
now you want the 6, the
all right, you want
Do you
to?
wanna
existing
do-
applications?
All right, so let's go to, we received a request from, we did
Did you-
Arab, hold on, I got notes all over
I know.
this, getting all twisted up
What
here.
about the existing applications? Don't you want to do that?
Yeah, she's gonna
That's
do
what
it.
that's what I'm doing, I'm just,
Sorry.
I
Just
want to
wanna
make sure I
wanna
get to
make
my
sure you're on
notes
target
and their
there.
names, no, we did that already.
Get a lot of papers. in front of us.
I got notes everywhere. We did Arab, okay, Medford Logistics, so
That's
they,
the only other one.
that's the only other one. Medford Logistics, I got more papers someplace. They sent us a letter, this is an add-on to our agenda, because I was planning on doing it in December, but I figure we might as well just take care of as many of these as we can. That's the planned spec industrial warehouse facility on the north side, I'm sorry, on the south side of the LIE and the east side of 112. It used to be a movie theater.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Now it's just a vacant lot. They requested a 6-month extension of their resolution accepting the application.
Something by the OTB.
they sold it.
Yeah,
Correct.
So it's a 6-month extension for them too,
Yes.
Six
similar to
months
the other ones.
to
Yes.
close.
Right.
They have 6 months to close.
So move.
There you
Second.
go.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is it segment?
I second.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I thought I heard post. You got it, Jess? Yes. Okay. Okay. Should we go?
Let's do EB now.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, sorry, guys. Mount Sinai Knolls Portfolio Holdings. Hold on, I gotta find my notes. Okay, so included in your package was a cost benefit analysis and a proposed pilot. This, just to remind everybody, is a 225 unit senior residential rental in Mount Sinai. We held a public hearing this morning. There were no comments, and this is a final authorizing resolution. We have counsel here if anybody has questions.
Bill,
I think we,
just
No, I
gonna
don't think-
add it in the
no
document about
questions.
the indemnity.
Oh, the indemnity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so again, under this agreement, under the existing agreement, section 8.3, they cannot sell more than 49% of the controlling interest in the company without the consent of the IDA, which consent will not be withheld to later condition. However, there is, come to our knowledge, a current lawsuit brought by one of the family members in the Berman family, seeking damages from other members of the family, other members of the company. So what we've discussed and talked about is having a condition to our consent to the transfer is Engel Berman and the principals of Engel Berman have to indemnify and hold the IDA harmless in case the IDA is sued by any of the any current or former members of Engel Berman as part of that lawsuit for our consent to the sale of this building. So that's something we will.
This is the matter I have recused myself with in the
Yes.
past,
Yes.
and I am recusing myself
Sorry,
again.
I'm sorry. This is-
I-
So again, this is,
Bye, Mitch.
Life stuff.
Yeah.
But for, if there wasn't that current lawsuit, and it's we're not commenting on the merits of it, but we don't want to be brought into the
Yeah.
middle of it as a third-party defendant, because we
Yep.
approved the sale of this. So this will be indemnification from Engel Berman. Going forward, any other typical lawsuits, the company is still EB at Mount Sinai LLC. The new owners of that company with new owners is still subject to indemnifying the IDA and holding the IDA harmless. But this is a special circumstance due to the Engel Berman lawsuit. So,
With indemnification and hold harmless, I move.
Okay, need a second.
Second.
Marty?
Bill, just to clarify, because we went back and forth inside. The Babylon ownership is not an issue here.
They have a different facility in Deer Park that doesn't concern us.
No, but the ownership of the LLC.
Uh,
There's nothing to the transactions, right? They're separate entities.
Separate entities, so they're not, there was some confusion, because unfortunately, one of the letters that came to us mentioned Deer Park LLC as opposed to this one. But you look at the contracts, it's a different.
Okay.
It's if that was done, that was a typo. I'm not sure how it originated, so I apologize.
And you review both of the contracts too?
Yes.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, so.
Are there questions?
No.
Karen, you seconded.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. So just logistically,
Yeah.
we have a closing no later than November 30th, so I can speak with Bill, now for 5 minutes if the agenda is complete, or we can speak, tonight or tomorrow morning to coordinate logistics.
We still have a lot for the meeting, but we still have a lot for the meeting.
Okay.
We'll talk later, but we have to have a signed indemnification from Engel Berman and the members. of
Just on that lawsuit.
So I'm sure you'll work that out with Craig and
Yeah.
Peter.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
very good.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the CVI AGL Asset Co. LLC.
We did Scalaman Cove?
We did that.
We did?
Yes.
We did that.
This is a project at 550 North Ocean Avenue.
Where's Mitch?
I'm here.
Oh, you're
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm allowed back in?
Yes,
Okay,
we need you.
Yes.
fair enough.
The investor for AE, this is a request to transfer the equity interest in AEESS Castle. That's the project proposed on a town property on North Ocean Avenue.
It's an energy project.
Yeah, an energy project. So request to transfer the equity interest in that project to CVI AGL Asset Co. And they will acquire 100% of the membership interest. It's a $4.3 million project. Agilitas will continue to manage the construction and the project after construction.
And they're still one of the members. They're still in there.
Yeah, they're still in there.
Yeah.
Right, they're part of CVI
Yes,
AGL
correct.
Asset Co.
We need a resolution to accept the application.
So move
Second.
And hold a public hearing.
and hold a
Oh, wait,
public
do we
hearing.
need a public hearing for this?
Bill?
Yeah,
And hold a public hearing if needed.
There you go.
Needed.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay,
Very good. in there.
We're getting there. We're making progress. I think the rest of these are gonna be pretty
It's
quick.
25 minutes.
Okay, the next one is thanks MS Zorn MDS Building. They put in a request that the projects, it's two projects. It's one of them on Zorn Boulevard and the other one is under construction in the Shirley Industrial Park. They're owned 50-50 between Dana and Mike Savino. And they have requested our permission to transfer 45% of Dana's 50% to the Dana Savino 2023 Irrevocable Insurance Trust. Howard, did you want to add anything?
Just two minor things. One is she has a 50% interest, of which 45 out of the 50% is what she's transferring. I thought the way you said it was 45% of 50%, but that's, you know, that's semantics. And the other thing was that this is being done out of it. What?
We said the same thing. We thought you said what she said.
Well, I didn't mean to. She's essentially she's transferring 90% of her 50% to a trust. Technically, she doesn't need our approval, but they're doing it out of abundance of caution.
Okay,
So move.
even though we don't have to. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the East Setauket Energy Storage Project. This is a proposed 125 megawatt BESS project on Sheep Pasture Road in Port Jeff Station. They have requested that we extend their, give them an extension until December 1st of 2026 because they still have to complete approvals through the town, the PSC, and there's a list of other items.
Is this on the Lawrence Aviation site?
No.
No, but
It's where the tank
right next to
farm
the
is?
Greek church, where there's
Oh,
a,
okay.
Is this a battery storage?
There's a,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a landscaping.
This is
place.
battery storage. The
Yeah.
Lawrence Aviation is solar arrays.
Right, okay,
Ion is doing it.
Yeah,
okay.
we don't have an application.
And then when they look at,
I don't know if it might go through Suffolk. Because it was Suffolk Land Bank
They called-
property.
they
They called
me.
it? Good.
Yeah.
Because it's Daniel.
Yeah.
Good.
and then I just had a question, on when they have these battery storage facilities, how much does fire prevention get involved in it with the
Oh,
town?
we've had-
Because it's a big issue
Yeah, we
today, a huge issue.
Yep.
Really?
It's a huge issue.
It's in the back.
Your little phone getting caught on an airplane in the pocket is a huge issue.
I'm
Never
kidding,
mind a
I'm kidding.
facility of that nature.
well, there's no way to put them out. That's the
No,
problem.
that's the problem.
These are, if you're serious about green energy and solar energy and wind energy, you need these battery storage
No,
facilities.
I'm not saying,
So,
what I'm saying.
yeah, I
is,
just want to
I
give my
am-
little speech.
No.
So then.
You got it
let-
in,
let-
but you know I'm
let me-
already there with
Let me
those.
roll. So,
Frank, I'm
So-
told that people that you and I both know well,
Yes,
the solution to this problem in East Hampton, because they had a big one out there, is a pile of sand with a bucket loader.
yeah,
That's how they're
this,
gonna put it out.
so the bottom line is, the town board has asked us through the review process to make sure we include the fire departments.
Okay.
And if some of these facilities have to get donate or whatever the case may be, provide on-site equipment to help put this out, that's gonna be addressed at the site
Okay.
plan, not at our level.
it's a national issue
Yeah,
and it's a new issue. You know, I
And it has to
attended
be
several
addressed.
seminars where, you know, so it's a huge problem and it's being discussed nationally, so.
It is, and
You know.
it's overdone, I think
Well,
sometimes
it's
too.
overdone
I'll tell you
unless
a
you're a
perfect example.
firefighter trying to put it out or
Everybody said-
jeopardize yourself.
But everybody said that the electric cars were dangerous, they go on fire, okay?
Mhm. You wanna see some videos of
Okay,
firefighters
And I'll
addressing
show
that?
you videos
I'm
of
not-
gas
I'm
cars
not
on
saying-
fire
They know how to
okay,
put those
that
out.
explode and
What-
everything
my-
else.
My only point is,
They
you
let
know-
those burn too. I've been in an accident
no, they need
where
to.
I was driving a car with a
Yes, I'm
battery
aware of your
and
accident.
my car did not go on fire,
Yeah,
because I've been driving
but
an
they know
electric
how to
car
put those
since
gas cars
2010.
out pretty well. They've been doing that for a lot
Yeah,
of years.
and I just wonder
But
who
when-
puts all this out. They let the gas cars burn, I watched them.
And that may be a solution to the other problem, but the point being, and it's not our problem, but it's a problem
I
that
did
needs to
my-
be addressed before something is approved because the local.
But not at
fire
our
ag-
level.
I know it's not. The
At
local
our
fire
level,
agency has to deal with that. That's my only.
Any of these
He made her
battery-
speech, so I want to get mine in.
Just as a point of reference, on any of these battery energy storage facilities, we do require additional insurance.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah.
Environmental.
No, it's all new. That's the
Yeah,
bottom
no,
line,
yeah.
whether it's
Yeah,
a
but we're on
car,
top of it.
you know, cars, they're getting, you know, it's also solar panels on houses, you know. If you don't know they're there and you don't know how to address it, you'll electrocute yourself and, you know,
Yeah, no,
it's been done.
It's legitimate.
So-
In this particular case, Frank, we don't have to worry because the landscaper is leaving all of his sand
I love it.
behind.
That's good. Green, yeah,
My other
Okay.
question is, are we okay going out to 2026?
that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Is my note, that seems long, did I?
Well,
it does
it
seem-
takes a long time because they haven't gone to the PSC yet. So that's a
Okay,
long,
so that's-
and they have to make sure it complies with zoning here, which is the L1 zoning, which they do have. And then they go.
The other thing they need is permission to connect to the grid.
Yep.
From the independent system operator.
Then that takes
Yeah.
forever.
That takes, so,
So we're okay with 2026?
Yeah.
that's probably realistic.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
say it, 3 years is, you're gonna need.
I don't think there's a motion on the
The
floor.
world is on fire, but it will take.
Somebody
3
care to
years.
move it? Thanks, Gary. Second, Anne Marie in the cheap seats. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Holtzville Energy Storage Extension request. This is 110 megawatt best.
You did that.
No, we
Did we
did
do it?
East Setauket.
I thought we did all.
No,
the
you
solos.
did all of
We can do
Daniel's.
Holtzville.
Yes,
There's two
Yes, you did.
Oh, is it?
Oh, there's two
Oh,
different
yeah.
ones.
Huntsville Energy.
Sorry.
You did one.
I
Yeah.
did
We
the.
don't.
Oh, is
You're
this
confusing us.
Agilitas's? This is
No.
Agilitas?
This is the
No,
one that's
this-
all out of civic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Civic issues.
got it.
Okay, so Holtzville Energy Storage, this is 110 megawatt BESS system on the South Service Road of the LIE. They're requesting an extension to August 1st of 2024 to complete approvals, including their interconnection agreement, offtake agreements, and there are some others that they listed also.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Yaphank Energy Storage Extension Request. This is a 77 megawatt BESS system on Ramsey Road in Shirley. They're requesting an extension to August 1st of 2024 to complete offtake agreements, interconnection agreements, easements, and other.
Where's
Yeah,
this insurance?
they need an easement for them to come to town.
Yeah. All right, motion,
So move.
second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain. Okay,
The next item on the agenda is R squared Patchogue. This is another extension request. This is the proposed Gray Barn facility on Main Street in East Patchogue. It's a 91 unit apartment complex. They're going to demolish the existing structure, and they also have to do asbestos remediation. They also included amendments to their application. It shows increased project costs and corresponding changes to the requested benefits because of the change in costs. They did not request a specific extension, although I think Guy Germano,
I
yeah, Guy
have
is
Guy and
on.
Greg. You want them in?
Sure, we discussed 6 months yesterday, and since they are starting the demolition, we're going to speak to Camoin about amending their study. The changes to the cost will probably change the study, and so will the fact that they are demolishing the existing structures. This is the Gray Barn on East Patchogue.
Mediterranean man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gray Barn. I didn't know it was called that.
Hello, Greg.
Hi, everybody.
Does anyone have any questions?
I just have a question that has nothing to do with the request, but what do you do with asbestos these days? How do you get rid of it?
So, through a contractor, you register the removal with New York State DEC, and it's monitored. The whole process from removal to removal off a site is monitored and reported to the state.
All the way to its final destination, correct?
Wherever it's going, yeah.
All right, any questions, other questions to the board? Take a motion,
So move.
second. All those in
Give
favor?
her that,
Aye.
Opposed? All right, go to it.
Great, thank you, everybody. Have a great holiday. Take care.
You too.
Two.
Bye-bye.
So I'm not ready. The next item on the agenda is the CD Ramsey Realty LLC. This is a second facility that they are proposing on Ramsey Road. They're requesting an extension to February 15th of 2024. They have everything is ready to go. It's just like BLSF. They're pretty close, ready to close. But
There's documents today going around.
yeah, but we just didn't want them to get caught because of the grace periods expiring tomorrow.
Yep.
This is the one that's growing unidentifiable plants on the roof. Yes.
In their site plan, they have a rooftop greenhouse,
Nice.
and they didn't acknowledge to the planning board what they would be growing.
Do these plants have long skinny leaves?
I think they're probably,
I have no idea.
I don't think so, but I think they're used for whatever their secret stuff is that they manufacture.
That would make sense to me.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So they want an extension for 2.5 months, basically 3 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, one more to go.
It's getting close.
okay, we have a couple more to go.
We do.
Ron Cub, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that they continue to make progress on closing with various owners, and obviously they're making a lot of progress on renting the existing space to subtenants. Every time I go onto social media, I see somebody else is going in there. I talk to people, there's other businesses, so they're making good progress on that.
They have their next site plan into the planning board too,
Okay.
Oh, it's
just so you know.
Um,
2B,
What?
2B,
Yeah, we actually accepted that application at the last.
and they're
meeting.
downstairs, yeah,
I think just
or down hall.
that way. I know before when you said downstairs, I was like downstairs, oh, she thinks she's not.
I think I'm in my office.
Um,
Getting old.
The next item on the agenda is a request to ratify the cost for the Power Woman Awards dinner last night. It was just shy of $5,000 for the table.
Because we have a power woman among us.
We do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. Almost.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who was
Thank
the
you.
second?
Emery.
What was the song that you woke up to?
I don't know, I said the
Give her
comment.
one.
Oh, I gotta play I probably have it on the.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I couldn't remember what it was.
When I got,
Oh, I got a
we got up
picture.
the
You guys
stage, I
get
asked
a
Tommy, he goes, I don't know. I was like, all right, me either.
I heard it, and I said, oh, yeah, that's a good song.
I have
The only other item that I
No,
think
not
we
from
should
last night.
discuss is the timing of our December meeting. So
I
we
mean, I have one of
usually
the.
adjust things a little bit. So I'm suggesting that we leave the meeting times a little bit loose, because I want to see how much we actually have on the agenda, and that we plan to have the meeting later in the afternoon, and then
Go right to.
have a
Go right.
meal afterwards.
This is the
This is
6th.
that when-
Yes.
December 6th.
December
yeah.
So
sixth.
it's gonna be somewhere between 2
That
and
Tuesday?
5, the meeting.
Yeah, but maybe
Meeting's
we
gotta be
do like
over.
It's already
2,
been reserved. I don't think.
I
changing
can't
the
do
day.
Tuesday anyway.
not the day.
Yeah.
He just asked.
I just asked if it was
Oh, I'm sorry.
possible to do it on the Tuesday.
I think at this, I don't know,
We
but
already reserved
Yeah,
The venue?
December
the
6th.
venue for December 6th.
right.
Wednesday.
Where we go?
Yeah.
Diggers.
Don't ask.
Yeah, diggers. But if we have the meeting, let's say from like 1 to 2, we could have an earlier meal, which I think might work better for some people,
Okay.
if that's good with everybody.
Oh, I get you, move it up.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
like
you were
maybe
going the
two,
other way.
maybe 2 to 3, have the meeting, and then
Got it.
3:30, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow.
You'll let us know.
My fingers, they don't even like.
It's a work in progress, but I just wanted you guys to leave your afternoon kind of a little flexible for me,
Okay.
All right, I'm putting no appointments after 1.
after 1.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you have anything else?
Me? I'm just looking to see if we actually did everything since we jumped around so much.
The one that was originally on there.
Everything, they would check, you,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I got that.
Amy
That's
and-
the agenda.
you got everything? You got everything?
Okay.
The board have anything else? If not, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in
Second.
favor? Can I see the board members for a promise 2 minutes inside?
Oh, out of sight.
We're done.